open, not really with others first, either with myself. The things I was uncomfortable with, the patterns, the behaviors that were holding me back, where I just got complacent and comfortable with a reality that fit a narrative that I was comfortable with myself. So for me, it came to a grips when I was at the end of a relationship. I had no bank account, didn't even have a library card, um, didn't have my ID that was stolen,
Mm.
um, didn't have anything except for my social security number, and I didn't even feel important as a number at the time. And my health was on the line. My self esteem, sure enough, was on the line. But there's a point where I was like, if this is it, then this is it. But if I have another day to make a difference, then I'm going to hold myself accountable for creating the reality that I want and not settling with the reality that was taught to me, given to me, conditioned into me. At this point, if I'm not living at my highest level or at least going towards that, then I have to be accountable for allowing that to keep going on. And I had to be comfortable admitting that to myself first before I could even help people from a place that was not only genuine, but a safe space. So for me, accountability is openness.
Respect.
I can jump in a little bit off on that. I had a lot to figure out in this past year alone. Um, where I really I got a slap in the face. My entire reality just kind of like said, "Hey, fuck you," right? Um, but a lot happened, and my eyes got open to a lot. And this one I have to thank my brother for because at the end of the day, I wasn't expecting. If you would have told me that this would happen, like 2 years ago, I would have told you were lying, and I probably would have fought. I would have fought you for that. Um, but it took for me to get to a portion of my life where I felt like I can be a little bit open with myself to understand that like what truth really is, and not accepting everybody else's explanation of like what reality is for me. I had to like see what it is on my own. I had to pay attention to like who was moving around me and how they were moving around me. But to kind of go in to depth on what I'm meaning and what I was dealing with. Um I ain't saying names. I'm not specifying names at all in this entire conversation, but I will specify that this man is my father. Um and when I say this, he was somebody I looked up to as like a really big influence into my life. I always used him as an ability to say, like that's that common joke that black kids get. Oh, you don't know your dad. So I used to use that as the fact that hey man, I know my dad and I get to spend time with my dad. The problem came into the fact of realizing that there was a weird awkward pattern with my father that kind of kept going into play where one minute life will be going great, then the next minute like all life is just went to crap, and he would never explain what he did wrong in the situation, but only the things that he's done right. To me, at the time, it never really kind of like registered. I didn't really just kind of like look at it because at the end of the day, like that was my dude. That was like, I mean, if we're being honest, that was my best friend. I mean, that was my other best friend that I could talk to. I mean, he was the first person I ever, like, first parent I ever was able to smoke with, and stuff like that. And I feel like I can be open with my dad. So, like, in that portion, anytime I saw anything bad, I just told myself that it was a fluke, or maybe he had a mess up, because people are allowed to have a mess up. And I kept, like, I would make up excuses to myself on the situation. Um, Not explain on why like I can't accept that kind of behavior, especially not from him, because he should be the example, not the. I shouldn't be giving him an example, especially being a kid in the situation. But anyway, to kind of explain the situation to open up my eyes is just the fact of like my dad and I we had a conversation plenty of times where he was just wanting to talk about how he was doing good in life and how he was doing better about himself. And I used to tell him like I was proud of him. Like one big thing is when he said he got his own place, I was really excited for him because like to me, getting your own spot. I don't care where you coming from. Like, especially when you ain't have your own spot. Like, to me, that's a big accomplishment. Cause nobody else can tell you what to do. You got your own. Like, it's yours. So for me, I was really proud of him. He knew that I'd be proud of him for doing stuff like that, which was crazy that he was looking for my approval for things. Looking back on it, but
You being his son. Yeah.
yeah, it was a little wild. But um, in this situation, it just I'm over here fighting the wrong thing. Um, this this man just flat out lied. If we're just gonna be honest here, this man didn't explain what happened or anything like that, or how he got his own place, or like why he got his own place. And I just realized that a lot of things started to add up after I get a call from my brother, and he's like, "Yo, man, I just need your support. I'm not gonna go in full depth on this whole entire conversation that we had, but he's just like, I need your support." After being given the details, I was like, all right, screw it. I mean, I'm gonna make sure that I get there. They ended up giving me the day off of work, so I was like, screw it, I'm there. All right. The reason my brother needed my support was because I found out my dad did the one thing that I told myself I'd never forgive anybody else in the world for. And if honestly, uh, if I had the opportunity to, I'd probably knock him off. Um, I'm probably gonna drop off because my stream is not working right now. I'm just gonna record. Um, but anywho, yeah, we just gonna hop off that because it just restarted me. Anywho, so with this man doing what he did, it pissed me off. It pissed me off a lot because the way he presented it to me was kind of like very like watered down story of, hey, listen, I asked your sister to do some shit. And I just kept asking her, and she finally told me yes. It's kind of like the gist of the conversation. Makes it easy, you know, spend 2 hours on this whole one conversation. Um, and for me being the person that I was and how far my head was up his ass, I was like, you know, hey pops, I'm here for you. Like, I got you. I'm on your side right here. It wasn't until I talked to my brother, he explained everything to me, and then I talked to my sister, she also explained everything to me, and then I talked to my dad again, and things started to piece up. And then like 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like, look, listen, I don't care what you say, that's what that is. For streaming purposes, I'm just gonna say the R word. There you go. That man's mad disrespectful in my eyes. That's the one thing I would never forgive anybody of, and I mean, forgive anybody for. But what pissed me off was he never took accountability for his actions, and that's where I wanted to talk about this conversation. And um, he never took accountability for his action. We all sat there in the room together, and not one moment did I feel like he was ever sorry about what he did, or if this man was ever like truly remorseful or anything. Like, it was just more of like a self kind of thing for that man, which pissed me off because like you gonna go and 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 do something like that to somebody else, and you have no ability to show remorse for it. I don't believe your apology. As a matter of fact, take that apology and shove it right back up your ass. I don't care for it. But it gets me from time to time because of the fact that like for somebody to do something so disrespectful, you would expect them to at least have some kind of remorse for the people who still want to be in his life.
You're a good
Not,
person.
yeah, not go back and backstab or bash that person because initially the first story he told everybody was that um, she came on to him, not really him going to her. So he didn't just not take accountability. He also flat out just lied and threw the entire blame, not to just my stepmom, but to family as well. And through that, on my sister. And she felt like she had to take that entire weight on her own. That's a whole nother frustration. We ain't gonna talk about that. But um yeah, it frustrates me because like as a grown man who's always told me you have to hold honor in our name, it pissed me off to know that he didn't honor the name enough to not disrespect my sister. He didn't honor the name enough to own up to his mess ups, man. Like, you a grown man. That's the route you taking as a grown man. Like, I'm gonna need you to figure something out, my boy, for real. Because to me, that is the most disrespectful, vile thing you can ever do to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter whether or not it's by force or whether or not it's by manipulation. And he was a master manipulator. Would you call it for what it is? I mean, hell, shit. I know him better than I want to say I do,
Right.
just by sitting back and listening to this man talk and sitting back and then piecing stories together. And it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. It taught me that it doesn't matter what you do. If you were to hold accountability for your actions, you may not be looked at as bad as you actually are. But if you go and do some disrespectful shit to somebody and you can't even hold yourself accountable for it, bruh, I wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire, if I'm being honest. I'm I'm speaking from just straight
Straight
raw
facts.
feelings.
No,
I
I
would
mean,
not.
That's what we do here.
you have the
That's
right
what
to
we
feel
need.
like that, and honestly, that's an unspeakable act. Honestly, from
Funny.
someone's. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just don't feel anybody. I don't think anybody would feel differently.
Right.
No, that's a hefty betrayal on top of that, and
Yeah.
the amount of gaslighting that goes down to compartmentalize that type of information. I feel for you, but strong as hell. I'll say that.
Nah, no, 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 no. I I'll say I'm strong, sure, but the person who got the most from my father is in this party, and he goes explain it when he get a chance to, whenever he feels like he's ready. I'm not gonna force him to, but just know I dealt with enough. He dealt with he dealt with everything. He dealt with everything and gave chance after chance. Me, you had that one opportunity. You fuck up there, I don't want to talk to you no more.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to that man. He didn't respond back to me. That was it. That was the end of that whole friendship, relationship, father son relationship, whatever you want to call that. Don't talk to me. I can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I reached out. So, like, I do appreciate you saying I'm strong. But I definitely don't want to take that away from my brother, because at the end of the day, that man went through the thick of it with him, and that that alone is disrespectful. The fact that, like, to me, I think the next disrespectful thing my father has ever done, and it took me to like realize it afterwards, was uh the fact that he used us pretty much as pawns, right? You get in good with a kid,